Exclusive. Arsenal make move for Eberechi Eze plus 27-year-old wants them. Tottenham lined up deal with Crystal Palace today and player, but after Havertz injury, Arsenal now closing in on England international if he proceeds with choice. Ooh. Ornstein again. Arsenal reach agreement in principle with Crystal Palace to sign Eberechi Eze. Deal worth around expired 68 million release clause, matching what Tottenham were ready to pay. Personal terms closed. 27-year-old plays for Crystal Palace on Thursday before Arsenal medical. And then, bow. Eze agrees personal terms with Arsenal ahead of completing move from Crystal Palace. Deal in principle already struck for 27-year-old attacking midfielder to join Arsenal after Crystal Palace game. So Tottenham have become Spursy again. And it's just unbelievable. This is utterly unflippin' believable. How do you lay the groundwork for Eze? Mind you, Spurs have been the only team who have really made the biggest noise when it comes to getting him to agree personal terms, getting him to say, you know what, I want to join Tottenham. I want to join the project. I'm ready for the move. How do you mess it up from here? Like, we know, in the beginning of the window and months and, weeks ago, yes, Arsenal were interested in Eze. We've always been told deal for the striker, deal for the left winger is separate to Eze deal. But now it looked like Arsenal were not going to move for Eze. So Tottenham, you had one job. You literally had one job. You were in a one-man race and you somehow still lost to the horse that was not even in the race to begin with. How is this even possible, bro? And it's like Arsenal are paying damn near what you agreed to pay him. We don't know about, how much he's going to get paid, personal terms. We don't know that. But see, when you're Spurs, right, you should be learning from what happened with Gibbs White. Like, you can't get too complacent. To me, it just felt like Tottenham got too complacent. They really thought they were that team. Like, they forgot the food chain. Tottenham forgot the food chain for a quick second. Like, I understand your world, you won the Europa League. But brother, you're not that guy. You're still not that guy. So when you get an opportunity to really get first dibs on a player like Eze, you go to Palace, you negotiate, and you don't leave without Eze. You genuinely don't leave the table and Eze's still there. Because, any of these big teams can pick up one injury in the first Premier League game, and all of a sudden, it's game over for you. Today, we got the news that Kai Havertz picked up an injury. Let me pull that up, actually. We got the news. Boom. Arsenal forward set for spell out with knee injury. Assessments on 26-year-old German international. And the information went on. From 16 hours ago, Arsenal have moved in, agreed personal terms, agreed the fee with Palace. Here we go. Dunzo. And this is the problem. When you're a certain team and you ain't got the clout like that, bro, when you have certain players that are ready to sign for you, you make that deal happen. See, Spurs were smart with the Kudus deal. Because I don't know if it was yesterday where some news still came out that even with Mohamed Kudus, he still agreed personal terms with Chelsea. The only reason that move never materialized was because, we obviously needed the sales to go through, and Spurs took advantage of that situation. Kudus was not trying to wait. West Ham were not trying to wait for no kind of bread coming in. They wanted the guaranteed money on the table, money on hand, and then they just made that deal happen. But if we had sold Noni That same week, before Spurs signed Kudus, Kudus would have been a Chelsea player. And we kept trying to tell Tottenham this. Even, yes, it was reported. Kudus only wanted Tottenham. Kudus only wanted Tottenham. Yeah, but they were the team that actually put the money on the table. So, of course, he's going to go with the first team that put the money on the table. What if Chelsea decide not to come back for him? Because we've had this situation with Kudus before. We agreed personal terms, and we just left him hanging. So I can understand him going, maybe I don't want Chelsea to do me like this twice. So fuck it, I'm going to Spurs. But Tottenham, you literally had a free hit at Eze for good money. Like, if you look at the market right now, the money other teams are spending on players, arguably you could say, okay, you know what? For 68 mil for a 27-year-old player, still reaching his prime years, that's good. It's good value for money. Like, you're not going to get a lot of players with Eze's quality on the market wanting to play for Tottenham. Like, let's not do this. Kudus might be, an exception, but even with Morgan Gibbs-White, that move, you got the here we go, and it just never happened. It did not materialize. Like, Spurs forgot where they are in the food chain. Because you look at United and you look at Newcastle. Literally, the three of the players that are playing for United's front three right now all rejected Newcastle this summer with no Champions League. Food chain, yo. That's what the food chain is. Mbumo, Cunha, Sesko all literally rejected Newcastle with no Champions League for United. So Spurs, when you have an opportunity to make these moves and you're able to like close it out immediately, you take it. You don't wait and give Arsenal motivation. You don't wait to give them a second chance to come in and just boom, swoop in and get your key target. Now you've literally gone and made Arsenal much stronger this season. And in as much as we didn't give them, a chance to really win the Prem, because I still didn't think Arsenal had enough. Now you've just added Eze and you've added a bit more of a balance to that team. So now if Odegaard is not doing it right, you can just plug Eze into that position. Eze, we know, is someone who does a lot of damage regardless of where he plays. Preferably centrally, but even if you put him in the wide positions, you obviously got to give him a fullback that's going to overlap, because you don't want to have Eze just isolated on the wings and taking him away from the most dangerous central areas. Like Eze in front of goal, in and around the box, makes things happen. He's magic with, he's a magician with the ball at his feet. So now you've literally, bro, put Eze, Gyökeres, potentially Saka, Odegaard in the same team. In that first game against United, we were like, Gyökeres needs somebody who's going to find him with those, incisive through balls. Odegaard takes too much time when it comes to playing those type of passes at times. Eze will play it if he sees it. Eze will drive Arsenal from defense to attack. Bro, Tottenham, you had one job. You literally had one job to consolidate your potential run for a top 5, top 6 finish. Like 2 weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, Eze and Savio sounded like a freaking amazing deal and a steal for you. Now you've literally gone from having both potentially join in to having nobody. Now you got to go back into the market and be looking at options that you probably didn't prefer in the first place. It sucks, man. Like, this genuinely sucks for Tottenham. Like, they just bottled this at the end of the day. Like, there's nothing else to say about this. It's unbelievable. It's Spursy. It's Tottenham. Bottle job kings. In the space of 2 weeks, you've legit bottled gold. That's what you've done. In the space of 2 weeks, you've bottled gold. You've gone from being able to not only dunk on Arsenal by winning 2 European trophies that Arsenal doesn't have. You could have potentially added Arsenal's main target this summer to your team and flexed it. You could have had the treble literally on Arsenal right now. Super Cup, Europa League, Eze. I mean, you can still flex the Europa League, but you got to remember who you are, man. You ain't that guy. And now you're trying to talk to Xavi Simons like, yo, look, if you want to talk to Xavi Simons and somehow convince him to join, then fairs. But even why would he want to go to Tottenham? Like, you couldn't even get Kudus. I mean, okay, you did get Kudus. You couldn't even get Eze in a one-man race. And it took a Kai Havertz injury, man. And that's the thing. Like, yo, Spurs were moving like they had all the time in the world. Like, they genuinely moved like they had all the time. Yo, you should have gone to Palace. Hey, we want Eze. We'll give you 60 mil. We'll pay slightly above the release clause with better, a better payment structure. More money up front. Let's get this deal done immediately. The minute you came to the table, you should have never left without Eze's signature. You should have never left. Because if it wasn't Arsenal, maybe another big team shows, interest. And now Eze goes, you know what? Yeah, even though Tottenham just won a trophy, like, I just have a much better chance of just doing better somewhere else. And this is literally what just happened to Spurs. Nah, Spurs. If I was a Tottenham fan right now, I will be fucking livid. I will be losing my mind. Because this was a sure thing. This was literally a sure thing, bro. Nah, it's unbelievable. Like, the Bottle Kings have struck again. I don't understand. I don't get it. I just don't get it. You literally had it all and you fumbled it. Yo, we were about to start doing lineups with Savio on one side, Eze centrally, Kudus on one side. You could have went with Richarlison or Solanke, with Sarr, Bentancur, Paulinho in midfield, and you would have been nice. You would have probably, with that kind of firepower, been able to talk to the likes of like your Newcastles, because in as much as Newcastle have a decent team, especially midfield, they have I'll say they have a better midfield than Tottenham. Defense, it could go both ways, because it cancels out. Someone who say Van de Ven, Romero, probably better defenders than whoever Newcastle have back there. Fullbacks, you could give it to Newcastle. Livramento, Lewis Hall, yeah, serious ballers. But the attack is where you would have had the biggest chat to Newcastle, and you probably could have replaced Newcastle in like the top 6 battle. So, yeah, I'm lost for words. I ain't even gonna lie. I am totally lost for words. This was such a sure thing. And for that price, you should not have left. You definitely shouldn't have left without Eze. Like, you genuinely should have went to the table. We're going to give you this. Eze, we want you to come, sign, do your medical. You still want to play that game on Thursday? Cool. After that, Friday, report to training, because we have a game on the weekend for you to play. Like, that's what you should have did. Now look at you. Nah. Tottenham, bro. Remember who you are, man. It's still Spursy. Take care, people. Peace.